Start recording. Hello and welcome. We are on page number 40 of chapter 6. This session we need to start from this para: food and beverages, outdoor catering, health services and other services. We are analyzing section 17 subsection 5 blocked credits. Blocked credits. The ITC will be blocked in respect of certain inputs and input services, though the outward supply made is for non-business purpose or for taxable supplies. But still, the ITC on these inputs or input services will be blocked. So what are those items? Some of them we have already dealt with regard to vehicles, vessels and ships, and also GST paid on the insurance, service and maintenance charges in respect of vehicles, vessels and aircrafts. Vehicles, vessels and aircrafts. Now the second point we need to deal with is food and beverages, outdoor catering, health services and other services. What are the ITCs which have been blocked? Food and beverages ITC is blocked. Though food and beverage is supplied and the outward supplies which have been made are chargeable to GST. Even then food and beverages are blocked. However, there are certain exceptions. We will look into the exceptions once we complete this list of blocked credits in respect of food, beverages, catering, etc. Outdoor catering, it is blocked. Beauty treatment, blocked. Health service, blocked. Cosmetic plastic surgery, blocked. Life insurance and health insurance, blocked. ITC is blocked if health insurance or life insurance is paid. Okay. Now, however, there are certain exceptions. If such goods or services, what are those goods or services? Food and beverage, outdoor catering, beauty treatment, health service, cosmetic plastic surgery, life insurance and health insurance, when used by a registered person for making an outward taxable supply of the same category of goods and or services, or as an element of taxable composite or mixed supply. So, if these goods or services, food and beverage, outdoor catering, beauty treatment, etc., if they are used by a registered persons as inputs for making an output taxable supply of the same category of goods and or service, or as an element of a taxable supply of a composite or a mixed supply. Also, there is another exception. Such goods and services are when provided by an employer to his employees or to its employees under a statutory obligation. Friends, we will understand this with examples. Okay. So we have remarks. Suppose ITC on such goods and service is allowed in case of subcontracting. That is, when such goods and services are used by taxpayer who is in the same line of business. Now, the outdoor catering is normally blocked. Let us say X Limited conducted AGM. X Limited conducted AGM, and in AGM some refreshments, snacks, etc., drinks, soft drinks, beverages like coffee, tea, etc., are served. Now, for this purpose, X Limited engaged A caterers to provide all these refreshments, snacks, soft drinks, beverages. X Limited paid A caterers 1 lakh rupees. on which they paid GST of 5,000, for example. Now whether 5,000 is available as ITC for X Limited? No. Now suppose A caterers charged X Limited 1 lakh. For drinks, what has happened is A caterers subcontracted to B caterers for supply of drinks, which is 20,000 charged. This fellow charge, and so 20,000 is to be paid to A caterers. A caterers will collect in turn 1 lakh 5,000 from X Limited. Now B caterers charged on drinks, let us say it is also 5%, only for the sake of example I am telling. So 5% means 1,000. So 21,000 B caterers will charge. Now will A caterers get 1,000 as ITC? Means yes, because here it is these two are same line of business. Therefore this A caterers will get input of 1,000, which was charged by B caterers. That's what here it has been said. In the same line of business, outdoor caterer service availed by another outdoor caterer. Okay, when such goods or service are provided by the employer to its employees without any statutory obligation, ITC is blocked. If it is for statutory obligation, ITC is allowed. If it is other than statutory obligation, ITC is blocked. Membership of a club, health and fitness center. Now these are blocked. Membership of a club, health and fitness center is blocked. Suppose such services are provided by employer to its employees under a statutory obligation, then it is allowed. Without statutory obligation, it is blocked. Travel benefits extended to employees on vacation such as leave or home travel concession. Means leave travel concession. Now if they are provided under statutory obligation, allowed. If they are provided without any statutory obligation, disallowed. Now these three items let us understand with examples. So what are the examples? A manufacturing company purchased food items for being served to its customers free of cost. Now is ITC blocked? Catering is blocked. So it is blocked. Food and beverages is blocked per se. Yeah, food and beverages is blocked unless if they are provided under statutory obligation to the employees or same line of business. Now AB and Co. a caterers of Amritsar has been awarded a contract for catering in a marriage to be held at Ludhiana. Firm has given the contract for supply of snacks to be served in the marriage to CD and Sons. Now whether ITC charge, whether the tax charged by CD and Sons from AB and Co. be allowed as ITC in the hands of AB and Co. Yes, it is allowed. ITC on outdoor catering service availed by garment exporter for marketing event blocked because it won't come under exception, and outdoor catering is blocked per se. Outdoor catering service availed by a company to run a free canteen in factory. The Factory Act 48 requires the company to set up a canteen in its factory. Now this is for employees and also statutory obligation is there. Therefore you have to allow here because this outdoor catering or food or beverages, if provided by an employer to its employees under statutory obligation, is allowed. Next, managing director of a company has taken a membership of a club. The fees is paid by the company. Whether ITC is allowed or blocked, it is blocked. Suppose if it is provided by employer to employee under statutory obligation, allowed. But here there is no statutory obligation as per the facts of the illustration, and also you don't know whether the managing director is in the employee-employer capacity or not. So here it is blocked. The company avails services of a travel agency for organizing a free vacation for top performing employees. ITC blocked. It will be allowed only if it is under statutory obligation. So the question or the illustration is silent about the statutory obligation, and so we assume that there is no statutory obligation. Once there is no statutory obligation, ITC can never be allowed. It is blocked as per section 17 subsection 5. Next we will move on to the works contract service for construction of immovable property. It is blocked under section 17 subsection 5 clause C. It is blocked. Now what do you mean by works contract? It has been defined in definitions. In this chapter also we have defined what do you mean by works contract. Now essentially works contract is a composite supply. It involves the supply of both goods as well as a service. Now you are awarded a contract for construction of a building. You will procure cement, bricks, sand, iron, paints, sanitary fittings, electricity wires, electricity fittings, etc. You have all bought. You have applied labor. You have applied overheads, and the building is constructed. So it is a composite supply. It involves both the supply of goods as well as services. Now works contract may be involving movable as well as immovable properties, but what the GST law brings into its ambit is only immovable property. So when you are referring to works contract in GST Act, it will refer only to immovable property. Next comes the question of what do you mean by immovable property? Is immovable property defined in the GST law? It is not defined in the GST law. If it is not defined in the GST law, you have to refer the definition in other laws. There is section 3 subsection 26 in the General Clauses Act which defines immovable property. It includes land, benefits to arise out of land, and things attached to the earth are permanently fastened to anything attached to the earth. Next comes what do you mean by anything attached to the earth? It is defined in section 3 of the Transfer of Property Act, which means rooted in earth. Like trees, shrubs, but the term immovable property and the Transfer of Property Act does not cover standing timber, growing crops or grass. Embedded in earth like walls or buildings. Attached to what is so embedded for permanent beneficial enjoyment of that to which it is attached. So this is attached to earth. Why are we learning what do you mean the meaning of attached to earth? Because the immovable property as defined in General Clauses Act it refers to the word called attached to earth. Now under the GST law, the composite supply, we already understood that works contract is a composite supply which involves a supply of both goods as well as a service, and that too more than two or more taxable supplies of goods or services are involved in a composite supply of works contract. Now works contract is treated to be a supply of a service by virtue of Schedule 2 of the CGST Act. Now ITC on works contract service for construction of an immovable property is blocked. So where an immovable property is being constructed for which a works contract is given and the works contractor charges you GST, for you it is input but it is blocked. Provided you are awarded that works contract for the purpose of construction of immovable property, it is blocked. But there are certain exceptions. Though the works contract is given for the purpose of construction of immovable property, but still the GST input is available, it is not blocked under section 17 subsection 5. What are those circumstances? If it is to the input service, further supply of works contract means the same line of business. I am awarded a works contract to construct 20 kilometers of a road. I can't do the entire thing by myself. I give 5 kilometers work as a subcontract to someone else. Now this fellow charged me 10 lakhs plus GST of 1.8 lakh. Now whether I will get 1.8 lakhs as ITC or not, yes, I will get. Okay. So same line of business person will get. And the immovable property happens to be plant and machinery. We already learned the definition of plant and machinery. It may be affixed permanently to the earth constitutes an immovable property. Suppose a plant and machinery is fixed into the earth, automatically since it is fastened to the earth, it will become immovable property. However, if this immovable property is a plant and machinery, ITC will be available on the works contract of plant and machinery. That's why at the beginning of this chapter itself, we have learned the definition of a plant and machinery, because here the 17.5 blocks ITC on works contract, but it excludes plant and machinery. Next comes the question of what is the meaning of construction, because here we have used the term construction. We have used the term construction. Construction of immovable property. So what do you mean by construction? Now construction includes reconstruction, renovation, addition, alteration or repairs to the extent of capitalization of the said immovable property. So friends, ITC is not available on works contract if the construction is capitalized. If the construction is not capitalized, it is available to everyone. If construction is capitalized, it is available to only two persons in the same line of business and plant and machinery. If construction is capitalized, ITC is available only in two cases. One is same line of business fellow, another one is plant and machinery. If the construction is not capitalized, everyone will get the ITC. Next, moving forward, this is the explanation given here. If reconstruction, repairs, etc. are not capitalized, it would not tantamount to construction under GST. Therefore, ITC or works contract service available for such construction which is not capitalized, whether for any immovable property or for plant and machinery, will be available to all the recipient irrespective of their line of business. But however, if it is for non-business, then it is not available, or it is for exam purpose, it is not available. Now, what do you mean by plant and machinery? This we have defined earlier, but again once we will go through the definition. Means apparatus, equipment, machinery fixed to earth by foundation or structural support that are used for making outward supply of goods or service, and includes such a foundation or a structural support. But it will not include land, buildings, civil structure, telecommunication towers, pipelines laid outside the factory premises. These are excluded from the plant unit. Suppose if you are installing telecommunications towers, ITC not available. If you are installing pipelines outside your factory, ITC not available. So, ITC on works contract services availed for construction of eligible plant and machinery is allowed. Okay. If works contract for construction of machinery fixed to earth by a foundation would be allowed, however, for construction of telecom towers, it will be blocked. Now, so what are the situations when ITC on works contract is available? It is available in three circumstances. What are those three circumstances? when works contract service is availed by a works contractor for being used in the providing the works contract service, means same line of business, subcontracting for construction of plant and machinery. Now, ITC will be allowed to all recipients irrespective of their line of business for plant and machinery. Now, if the value of the works contract is not capitalized, it will be available to all the recipients irrespective of the line of business. So, further contract means subcontract allowed, plant and machinery allowed. If it is not capitalized, allowed. In rest of the circumstances, other than these three circumstances, the ITC will be blocked. Only in these three circumstances, ITC is allowed. Now let's understand this in a better manner with examples. ITC on works contract services availed by a software company for construction of its office blocked. It is not in the one of the three exceptions given above. CD & Co works contractor of Noida has been awarded a contract for construction of commercial complex in Lucknow. The firm avails a service of EF & Co local works contractor, means further supply, same line of business allowed. ITC on works contract service availed by an automobile company for construction of foundation on which the machinery to be used is mounted. Machinery, plant and machinery, exception allowed. ITC on works contract service availed by a manufacturing company for construction of pipeline. From plant and machinery, pipeline is excluded, which is laid outside the factory premises, and it is blocked. Consulting firm avails services of works contractor for repair of office building, booked to profit and loss account. So, the construction only when capitalized blocking will apply. If it is not capitalized, it will, section 5 blocking is not applicable. So, allowed. Telecom company has availed service of works contract for repair of its office building, capitalized the same. Office building capitalized the same, blocked. Now comes 17.5D, self-construction of immovable property. So what is the difference between 17.5D, this point, and what is the difference between 17.5C, which was the previous discussion? There, for constructing an office building, I have given a contract, works contract to another person for which I paid money. Okay. He charged GST on that, that is blocked except in certain circumstances. Now, what is 17.5D? I am constructing my own office building on my own account. Means I procured the inputs in my name. I contracted with the labor on my own account. So I myself am paying for the material, I myself am paying for the labor, etc. Now that is covered by 17.5D. So previously we learnt about blocking of credit in respect of works contract. But here what we are doing, we are learning about the blocking of credit in respect of where the taxpayer procures goods and service and constructs an immovable property and it is being used in the business and he is not availing the service of contractor. Now whether ITC will be allowed? No, it won't be allowed. So if I construct my immovable property either by appointing a works contractor or either by constructing it on myself on my own account, in both the cases the ITC is blocked. Okay. Now So ITC is not allowed in respect of own construction of immovable property, even though the immovable property is used in the course or furtherance of business. Okay. Now, so what are all the discussion or the meanings of construction, plant and machinery, which have been discussed in the 17.5c will also apply to 17.5d. Means if I am constructing a immovable property for my own plant and machinery, it is allowed. If I am not capitalizing, it is allowed. So what are all the points we have discussed in 17.5c for works contract are equally applicable in respect of 17.5d also, like the meaning of the term construction, plant and machinery, etc. So when you are constructing immovable property on your own account, when is the ITC available? Three circumstances. One is construction of plant and machinery. Second, you are not capitalizing. And when construction is not on own account. Okay. Right. Suppose you are a contractor, works contractor. You are constructing a building for others. You will get ITC. You are constructing your own building to be used as your office. ITC is blocked. Right? Next. Let's understand this through some examples. A company buys cement, tiles, etc. and avails the services of an architect for construction of his own office building. Gone, blocked. Amend and constructions procure cement, paint, iron rods and services of architect interior design for construction of a commercial complex for one of its clients. Now, construction means what it is doing, it is constructing to its client. So here we have the example, ITC for works contractor, building for others, it is allowed. Own construction not allowed. So here ITC is allowed. Company buys cement, tiles, etc. and avails the services of an architect for renovation and book to P&L account. If you are not capitalizing, allowed. So it is allowed. ITC on goods and services used by an automobile company for construction of a foundation on which machinery. So for plant and machinery, foundation is also allowed. Therefore, blocked. It is not blocked. It is allowed as input tax credit. So we will move forward to section 17 subsection 5 clause E, which deals with input supplies charged under composition levy. Now suppose I am a registered person. I am procuring inputs or input services from Mr. A. A is a composition dealer. Okay. Now what will the composition dealer do? He will not issue tax invoice. He will issue only bill of supply. A is being a composition dealer has no authority under the GST law to collect taxes from the customers. They can't issue tax invoice. They can't pass on the credit. Okay. So the registered person who procures inputs and input services from the composition dealer, ITC is blocked. It is not allowed. However, under composition scheme also, this fellow is paying taxes on a quarterly basis on the turnover, and that too a small percentage he will be paying, like 1% or something like that. Okay. Next, so it is blocked. Next comes input services received by a non-resident taxable person, which is dealt by 17 subsection 5 clause F. Whom do you mean by non-resident taxable person? He has been defined in a CGST Act. In definitions of this chapter, at the beginning of this chapter, in the definitions paragraph, we have learnt as to whom do you mean by non-resident. There we understood that non-resident taxable person is a person who has no fixed place of business in India, but sporadically, means occasionally he will be supplying goods or services in India. Now, for that person, tax paid on goods and services received by non-resident taxable person is not available as ITC. However, ITC on imported goods is allowed. Means for additional duties of customs etc. IGST will be levied on imported goods. That will be allowed. And here you have to understand that by him on imported goods is allowed. Imported services not allowed. So ITC on services imported is blocked. That you should understand. Next, inward supplies used for personal consumption. This is very simple because you will be able to avail the ITC only when you are procuring the input services and capital goods for the business or in the course or furtherance of business only allowed. If it is for personal use, non-business use or for providing exclusively exempted goods or services is not at all allowed. It is the ITC can't be allowed on such a thing. So when you are utilizing the goods or services for your personal use, then the ITC will be automatically blocked. There is no question of allowing the ITC. We can understand it by way of an example. Mr. X owns a grocery store. He procures rice, wheat and biscuits for being sold in the store. Out of the inventory so purchased, he gives 10 kg rice and wheat to his wife for household use, being used for personal consumption. Now ITC on this 10 kg of rice and 10 kg of wheat is blocked. Moving on to the next point, that is 17 subsection 5 clause H. What is that? Free samples, gifts, goods lost, stolen, etc. In respect of these goods which are disposed of by way of a gift, goods which are disposed is a form of supply. While learning the definition or meaning of supply, we understood that there are certain components of supply such as sale, exchange, leasing, disposal, etc. is also a form of supply. When GST will be charged? GST will be charged only when there is a supply of goods or service or both, and that to do for a consideration and in the course of or furtherance of business. Three conditions are to be satisfied. There should be at least one of the components of the supply. The supply is made for the consideration and it is in the course or furtherance of business. Right? Disposal is a form of supply. You are disposing the goods by way of a gift. What do you mean by gift? We will define. Goods disposed of by way of free samples. You are giving it away by as a free sample. The goods are lost, the goods are stolen, the goods are destroyed, the goods are written off. Means in all these cases there is no outward supply for consideration. Then how can you avail the input tax credit on those inputs and input services and capital goods? It is not possible. Okay. So we need to understand as to what do you mean by gift. Is gift defined under the GST law? It is not defined. So from where you have to get the definition of gift? you have to refer to other laws. Now, in Transfer of Property Act under Section 122, a gift has been defined to mean transfer of a certain existing movable or immovable property. This is made voluntarily without consideration. The person giving is called donor and the person receiving is called the donee, and it is accepted by or on behalf of the donee. So gift will be completed only when the donee accepts it or someone else on behalf of the donee accepts it. So normally what do you understand by gift? Gift means which is received without consideration and which is voluntary in nature and it is occasionally made or received. Now, can you demand a gift? No, the gift can never be demanded. Now, what do you mean by sample? Friends, let us say on some Sundays, at the time along with your newspaper, there may be a magazine. In that magazine, some shampoo sachet may be pinned to that magazine of the Sunday newspaper and it may be delivered at your home. That shampoo sachet which you get on a Sunday in the magazine, pinned to the magazine of your daily newspaper is nothing but a sample. Did they charge money for that? They did not charge. It is a free sample. Okay. Is the term sample defined in the GST law? It is not defined. Then what you have to do? You have to go to any other law where the definition is there. Now, if there is no other law which defines the term sample, then you have to go for the dictionary meaning. What is the dictionary meaning of a sample? Is a small part. Now, on a Sunday, did you get a small sachet of a shampoo packet or did you get a big container of shampoo? You only got a small sachet. Okay. So, samples are in small parts or quantities. Now, what is the purpose of giving away the sample? To show what the whole is like. So whatever shampoo is packed in the small sachet, the same shampoo will be available in the normal retail packs also. Okay. So why are samples given? Samples are given to prospective customers so that they will be able to test the quality of that item before making a decision whether to buy it or not. Next, we have a clarificatory circular number 92 and dated 28th March 2019, which gives some clarification in respect of entitlement of ITC in the hands of suppliers in respect of various sales promotional schemes. Friends, we already discussed these schemes in chapter number 2 dealing with supply and also chapter number 5 dealing with time and value of supply. So supply under GST chapter 2 as well as value and time of supply, time and value of supply under chapter 5. While discussing chapter 2 and chapter 5, we already discussed these items, but once again we will go through these items. Samples and free gifts. Now samples are supplied free of cost without any consideration. If there is no consideration, it is not at all a supply. When will a supply when will without consideration, when will a supply when will an activity without consideration be treated as a supply? An activity without consideration will be treated as a supply only in the circumstances given in Schedule 1. Okay. So normally for samples there is no consideration. If there is no consideration, it is not a it is not a supply unless it falls within the ambit of Schedule 1 of the CGST Act. So ITC will not be available on inputs, input services and capital goods to the extent they are used in relation to gifts or free samples without consideration. When there is no output tax, mind you, generally there will not be any availability of ITC. Okay. Now suppose the activity of gifts or free samples falls within the scope of supply on account of provisions of Schedule 1, then the ITC is available. So coming to samples and free gifts, ITC is not available because the activity without, for samples and free gifts, there is no consideration. The activity without consideration is not a supply, and therefore the question of the attracting allowability of ITC does not arise because there is no outward supply and there is no output tax, thereby you won't get any input credit also. But if the activity without consideration falls within the ambit of a Schedule 1, then what will happen? It is a supply on which outward tax has to be paid, because though there is no consideration, you have to value as per the valuation rules under CGST, and you have to pay output tax. If there is output tax, there will be input credit automatically, of course subject to certain conditions. Buy one get one offer, this also we discussed somewhere either in chapter 2 or chapter 5. Now, is the buy one get one offer a both different supplies? No, it is an individual supply, but two or more individual supplies are provided for independent, or where two or more individual supplies are made for a single price. Right? For the entire supply, a single price has been charged. Here what is happening? Suppose buy one get one free. Buy one shirt, get one shirt free. Now what is happening? This is an individual supply, this is an individual supply, but both these supplies are combined. Combined for single price. For single price. So what you can do, you can understand that these two products are given for one price. Two shirts are, ultimately it boils down to the point that two shirts are given for one price. Now how will be the taxability of this supply depend? You have to understand if this is a mixed supply or a composite supply. If it is a composite supply, the principal supply rate will be applicable to the entire supply. If it is a mixed supply, highest rate will be applicable. Right? Now whether ITC is available, ITC is available for inputs in relation to supply of goods or services are a part of such offers. So it does not mean that ITC for free shirt is to be blocked. No, it is not like that. It is two individual supplies for a single price. In that manner you have to understand. What is the rate of tax to be applied will be dependent upon whether it is a composite supply or whether it is a mixed supply. Composite supply means the rate applicable to the principal supply is applicable for the entire supply. Mixed supply means the highest rate of tax applicable to the individual items in that bundle will be applicable to the whole bundle. Now discounts, including buy more, save more offers. These discounts also we learned in value of supply in chapter 5. in chapter 5 we learned about the discounts. So what are discounts? Why discounts are offered? Discounts are offered to customers, or various types of discounts will be offered to the customers, like staggered discounts, means buy more save more. Also they will give discounts like post supply discount or volume discounts. Now these can't be established, or if it is established before or at the time of supply, then they will be excluded in determining the value of supply, provided they satisfy the condition given under 15.3. Also, the recipient of goods should also reverse the proportionate credit. Okay, so we have discussed at length about the discounts in our chapter 5 dealing with the value of supply. So, if the discount is known at the time of or before the supply, if it is noted in the invoice, then it will not form part of the value of the supply. Input tax credit is allowed. If the discount can't be quantified at the time of or before the supply, but there is an agreement as to how the discount is to be calculated and it is given afterwards, then also it will be allowed. It will not form part of the value of the supply, but the supplier has to give credit note, the recipient has to reverse the proportionate credit. If all the conditions are satisfied, it will not form part, then he can reduce the tax liability. ITC will not be get affected in the hands of the supplier, but the recipient has to reverse the proportionate ITC. Coming to secondary discounts, they are not known or determined at the time of supply. And now what will happen for secondary discounts? They may be issuing not GST credit note, but they may be issuing financial credit note. Thereby, the supplier will not reduce the value of the supply, and the recipient need not also reverse the input tax credit. Okay, so such discounts shall not be excluded. Secondary discounts will not be excluded from the value of supply. There is no impact on availability or otherwise on the ITC in the hands of the supplier. Now, if they are primary discounts and they are known at the time of or before the supply is made, then what will happen? This fellow will reduce the value of supply. Supplier will reduce the value of supply, but he is entitled to ITC for inputs and input services and capital goods. So friends, from the next para onwards, we will continue in our next session.